From KUNC and the NPR network, this is In the NOCO. I'm Erin O'Toole. Tim McKay is a Denver artist who fills colorful, sprawling canvases with geometric figures. His paintings can span 12 feet or larger. A year ago, a diagnosis threatened to disrupt his career. Doctors told him he had Parkinson's disease, a condition that would slowly take away his ability to use his muscles. Tim responded by making art that reflects how the disease is changing his ability to paint.
There's an initial shock and then a stepping back and saying, well, how is this going to change my life? And as an artist, what tools do I have to learn something that could be helpful to me about learning how I'm living with my new condition? And also, how is my art changing?
He started painting on smaller canvases, less than a foot wide, which require less energy and mobility than his larger pieces. And in some cases, when he had a clumsy moment as he was painting, he left evidence of those mistakes in the work. His paintings are on display at Pirate Contemporary Art in Lakewood through Sunday. Tim told me that channeling his feelings about his diagnosis into his art felt natural.
The studio is my happy place. So it's the place that I go that I can focus, just be in myself, lose time, and not have the external pressure. So that was really important to have that kind of a spot just for self-reflection.
You've talked about making a number of paintings. You've made 71 small paintings in the year after your diagnosis. What did you notice about how your work has changed over that year?
There were a few things that were just flat out mechanical. So Parkinson's is a disease that most people think of shaking of being the primary symptom.
Sure.
But it's really slowness and stiffness, with shaking being one of the aspects of that slowness and stiffness. So my shaking in my dominant hand, in my right hand, is not really big right now.
Okay.
And I can also stay pretty good with control as long as I'm taking my medication and I'm not working too terribly long.
Right.
So after about 2 hours in the studio, I will start to lose a fair amount of precise control. So depending on what I'm doing, I can either stop that or shift it. Or if I'm particularly stubborn, I will take my left hand, brace my right hand, and just kind of pull it down little by little until I reach where that dot is and put that dot on.
What sorts of strategies have you had to adopt in the studio? You mentioned, not so much shaking, but other challenges. What strategies have helped with that?
Almost every session, even with planning, I will knock something over. So water containers on the floor, paint containers, you bet. And when we moved and designed my studio, it was made so every surface is cleanable and wipeable. And that just makes it easier at some point in time to get things back to a reasonable condition so I can wreck it again. But
right.
It's my practice now.
Has any spilled paint made it into any of your work?
Yes. In fact, number 71, the last of the small paintings that I did, I had finished it. I was actually picking up the pencil to sign it and date it. And I knocked over a container of pink paint right onto the painting, and it obliterated a corner of it. And I sat back and I said, perfect, because that's who I am today, and that needs to be seen in the work.
With your new pieces, you have brought landscapes into them based on memories from your past.
Yes.
What were those memories, and how has this diagnosis made them bubble up?
When I was 11 years old, my family moved to Santa Monica, California from northern New Jersey. And it's like we stepped into paradise. Just gorgeous. I like to say our family lived in Santa Monica at a time when normal people could.
Yeah.
It's a different place today, but at the time, it was kids and dogs and families and beach. I fell in love with the beach. And as a teenager in particular, you could find me at the beach 5 days a week. Easy. It was the place where, honestly, I think I felt the most at home in my body and the most myself in my entire life. Painting those paintings gave me a chance to say, that's part of me still. So, no, I'm not going to swim a quarter of the mile out in the ocean to the end of the Santa Monica Pier. No, I'm not going to go out when the waves were iffy, but my body felt strong and I could do it and I just wanted to.
Yeah.
But that's still part of me, regardless.
What do you want people who come see these paintings and who know your backstory to take away from this exhibit?
I would love people to think about their own lives and own situations. Somehow I had this magical thinking at the beginning of my diagnosis year that life was just gonna kind of, the waves would part and things would be kind of easy other than the Parkinson's diagnosis. Well, I mean, really now, that didn't happen. I wound up in the hospital for a brief stay.
Oh,
I
gosh.
had outpatient surgery. My father died. My friends had ridiculous and difficult things happen in their lives. And when it boils down to it all, is we are just living the lives that we've got and trying to find a way forward for each of us that makes sense is, I think, one of the biggest tasks that we can do to feel good about who we are and to feel good about being in a society and interacting with others and learning to care more deeply about both the people we know and the people that we have casual contact with. So I hope people come and look at the paintings and think more about their own journeys more than mine. Where are you today? What are you feeling? How is life unfolding? Who do you want to be? That's what I hope. And I think what I've experienced is people come in and look at the exhibit and they start to lose themselves. That's exactly what I'm hoping will happen.
Tim McKay's exhibit One to Somewhere is on display now at Pirate Contemporary Art in Lakewood through Sunday, December 15th. He'll be giving a talk there this Saturday at 2:30 p.m. We'll include a link to his work in our show notes and at kunc.org. And if you enjoyed this episode, or if you have something else you want to let us know about, please send us an email or a voice memo to noco@kunc.org. That's NOCO@kunc.org. And remember, if you missed an episode or you want to revisit one, you can find us wherever you listen to podcasts and at kunc.org. That's it today for In the NOCO. I'm Erin O'Toole. Thanks so much for listening.